Hey guys, hey, welcome, and hello YouTube, hello Facebook. Oh, I'm live. I always have to redo my hair when I go live. So this is kind of cool. We are talking about physiologic pain today, and I'm going live so that I can get some questions. And if you don't have any questions, as you know, I always have plenty to talk about. But what is physiologic pain? Why do we care about what it is? Because it's super important. And then how to harness it, how to use it for our birth, okay? To make it better. Just knowing about it. Okay, if you're interested in that topic and that's why you came to this live video, you're in the right place. I want to know where you are from. I have some updates. I was so excited. I was getting ready for this video and I'm super late. As always. You know how I do. You know my drill. What's an hour? I was pumping, and then my husband texted me with really great news about my YouTube channel. Mandy Irby. I hit a huge milestone today, and I'm really excited about it. So he texted me. He was like, "You're at 1,000 subscribers." I was about to pee. So I am so thrilled for that. On my channel, I talk all about birth, what comes next. I am in the light. I'm so sorry. But I believe that women's bodies are powerful, and with the right support, we are unstoppable. I am educating and empowering women and parents to transition into parenthood, believing in themselves. And I plan to change the world with that mindset. You can see my notes flapping in the wind. Being outside, there's just like so many elements of surprise. It's exciting. So tell me where you're at. If you agree with what I'm doing here and what I believe in, what I'm trying to do here, thank you for the likes. Consider subscribing and joining our group where I'm live right now. I'm doing a twofer, which means the light in YouTube looks terrible, but the light on Facebook looks fine. So, and I had a dog barking in the background, so who knows? We're doing some construction in our yard, some spring cleaning. So that's where I'm at. I'm at my house. And I've been working this morning, and I've been watching my subscriber count go up. I'm super excited about that goal. So tell me where thank you for the hearts and the love. Tell me if you can hear me and where you're watching. At your house? Are you at work? What city? What state? What country? I am international. Who knew? I've been getting so many comments and emails from international followers. So thank you. I love hearing from you. I love your questions. That's what helps me continue to go live and continue to answer questions and bring you all this great information. Also, contributions, which I never thought I would say. So just a few months ago, I had 57 subscribers, I think, on my YouTube channel, and today I have 1,000. Also, I'm getting sustainable to do this. You guys know I have notes. I'm prepared. I'm type A, kind of. I'm not very organized, but I'm ready. I'm going to Seattle, Washington, and I can say that confidently because I will be reaching my donation goal. I'm so sorry about this light, YouTube. Maybe I won't use that video in my YouTube, on my channel. But gosh, you plan and then the sun. It's just so exciting. It's just you just never know. It's like labor. It's like birth. So I am going to hit my goal because I just got a huge contribution, a huge donation, big donor, and I booked my flight. And I registered and I booked my hotel. So the big tickets are out of the way, and thank you. So that's happening. If I exceed my goal, I'll be able to go vlog style. I need a new battery to go vlog style, and I'll check some bags. I'll need more equipment, but I have some big plans for that trip, and I'm going to stay for a while. And I have an exciting update on Friday. I'm going to go live again, and that just happened right before I came on here. So So big updates, big things, and thanks to you for your support. So that happened today. So thank you. I'm going to back up. Oh, there's a bush. Isn't that always the way? Bush is in the way. All right. We're just going to keep going. So thank you for joining me. If you are here live, thank you for the hearts that you can hear me, and tell me where you're joining me from. We are talking about physiologic pain. And so those are my updates. Sub goal, visit to Penny Simkin goal. Someone said that they emailed her that I'm coming. But I have not heard from her. I have some emails in the queue that I'm not brave enough to send quite yet, but I will be sending some emails out to do some super crazy, sick interviews while I'm there. Like, just thinking about it, I could cry. I am so excited. So excited. All right. Physiologic pain. What the heck is that? You know, you've heard me say normal birth. And what I mean is normal physiologic birth. Okay. So that is the idea that our bodies, women's bodies, are made to have babies, like procreate. And I do believe that. Lamaze believes that. I teach Lamaze. I'm completely like Lamaze and I are like this because our bodies are meant to do this. So physiologic pain is different than pain. Labor pain, first of all, is the best kind of pain. Right? No. I mean, if you're going to have a good kind of pain, labor pain is predictable, meaning you know it's coming, right? So you're pregnant for however long, months at least, and you're going to go into labor. So you know that that is coming. You know you've heard about labor pain. So this video, sorry, I have a lot of notes. You should see my setup. This video is not just for people who are wanting to go through labor without pain medication. It is for everyone because every pregnant person has to make decisions during their pregnancy. Every pregnant person has to get that baby out somehow, and regardless of the route, there's going to be there should be a process through your pregnancy to help you cope with what's going to happen, regardless of how that happens. So stick with me. This is not just for people who don't want an epidural or don't want pain medicine. So deciding which provider, getting a handle on pain, that's where a lot of people start because you may have a really strong feeling about how this baby is coming out, or you may have a strong feeling associated with what you know is coming next. So that's why we're going to start with pain today and why it's for everyone, even people who want an epidural or want to minimize their pain as much as possible. This is still for you. So a very good friend of mine, I might have told you this story before, and she'll know who she is. We had lunch and she was pregnant and she wanted to ask me questions, and you know, having lunch with a pregnant friend, I'm always happy to answer questions, but usually I know what we're going to talk about a little bit and I love it. And she said, she was asking me like here and there, like about pain and about labor. And she said, you know, I'm going to wing it. I'm going to wing it. I don't want to have such high expectations that, you know, I may not reach those expectations. I'm just going to wing it. And I was bold, and I don't usually say, I say bold things, but I don't want to be crass or rude, but I was bold and I tried something out and I said, if you are going for the no plan or you're going to wing it, that method, it is going to set you up for pain interventions. And that's fine. Like, no judgment here. I take care of all kinds of people. I've seen all kinds of things. Like, I get it. There are a lot of ways to have a baby. There is no right way. The sun is moving. Thank you, sun. There's no right way. That's fine. But just so you know, if your heart is set on actually not having a baby without an epidural or without pain medicine, and you go the wing it route, then that could be disappointing for you. And she's my good friend. Like, I don't want to set her up for disappointment. And if I know something, I want to tell her the truth. So that's the truth. Notice I didn't say fail. I didn't say you're setting yourself up for failure, because getting pain medicine is not failure, and you never know what's going to happen in labor. You never know what the baby's going to do. There's so many unknowns. That's why I'm outside. It's so fun. It's scary and overwhelming, and there's so many factors. So it's not fail, but, and I don't want you to have I don't know. So I don't want you to think of it as failure. I'm going to put in an analogy here. I have points. I'm going to give you 3 ways to learn about pain and use it to your advantage to conquer getting a baby out. So in many science advanced countries, we treat birth in the US and Australia and Canada, and in the places that are making advances in childcare, we treat birth as in the medical model generally. And we do it, we have babies in hospitals, we have babies near hospitals, we have babies with physicians. Those are all medicine. And the medical model is set up to treat pain. They view pain as a problem, as a warning, as an alert, and they need to find the problem and fix it, or at least look for a problem. So pain is associated with suffering in a medical model or in a hospital or in a setting. Well, that's how physicians go to school. That's what they learn. That's how this process is programmed. And if I have a bowel obstruction and I'm telling you about pain, I want the hospital and I want my providers, my facility, and my physician to listen and to act on it. So then we stick healthy women, or pseudo-healthy women, usually healthy women, having children in a sick model, in a medical model, right? So that's where we get tricky. And that's where it's not a failure, because if the hospital didn't listen to my pain about my bowel obstruction, that's a failure. But there's a helicopter. Hey, Lydia, I can't wait for you to watch the replay. That's a failure if they're not addressing pain in a way that means that there's a problem. But in labor, it's unique. So labor pain is physiologic pain. There is physiologic pain that is going to happen for us to have a baby. And it is not nerve damage or muscle breaking or bone shattering pain. It's pain that happens, and pain, labor pain has a purpose, and I go through that in my either other YouTube videos and all over my labor class, all over my childbirth class, which is online, which I'll link. But we're not going to go into the purpose of pain, but there is purpose to pain in labor. And to not acknowledge that, I think, is a disservice. So when you're giving birth and you're having labor in a medical model and in a sick model and in a hospital, it's viewed as suffering. So people want to help you by taking away that problem. And that's fine. And a lot of people welcome that. But that goes to number 1. Oh, so my little idea when I was writing this, I was like, oh, there's an aha. Also, I did not come up with all of this. I'm learning this through a lot of books and podcasts and speakers and courses and experience. So I am not the genius that wrote these books or did these podcasts. So I will link some of my information also from where I got some of this information down below. But my aha was, okay, so a marathon. So physiologic pain we experience in our life. And that is pain when our body is working. I call it work pain. So like work pain and work sounds. When someone is working out at the gym and they make a sound that is, what is behind me? Oh, a hose. They make a sound like an animal sound when they pick up something really, really heavy. Does someone go over there and start giving them CPR or first aid? No. They look at them and they're like, wow, she's strong. She must be lifting something really heavy. She's doing work. That's cool. If you're in a yoga class and you're feeling the burn, that's work pain. That's physiologic pain. That's okay. That's our body working hard or pushing the limits. That's why we went there. We listened to our instructor when she says, breathe to the pain. And that was the podcast I listened to today. She said, breathe to. I say, breathe through your contraction. When you're running a marathon, imagine, okay, I've never run a marathon, but I've seen a marathon. I know a lot about them because I'm in a town where there are marathons, right? Imagine a marathon. If we ran marathons in the hospital. When I thought of that, I laughed out loud. I don't always laugh at myself. That's silly, but imagine the straggler. I would imagine me. That's exactly what I would be. I would be like, oh, I'm dying. Like, I can't. I don't want to anymore. Why did I do this? Why did I wear these shoes? Why didn't I sleep more? Why am I running this? And I'm like gimping along, like debating, am I going to stop? Am I going to go? Why am I feeling this pain? Imagine in the hospital, you get like 2 people with a gurney or like a backboard, like at a soccer game, like an international soccer game where they like run out and put me on the stretcher and run me off, like get me out of here. That's what they would do. They would be like, oh my gosh, we got to help that suffering person. And she's broken, and I would be gone. Well, then I would never get a chance to finish my marathon. When all it was physiologic pain. Like, I knew it was going to hurt. I knew it was going to be hard. I hopefully had prepared for that. But if it were in a hospital, they would be like, oh, we can totally fix that. Oh yeah, we can totally fix your calluses and your blisters and your pain and your breathing. And we have things for that. Okay, so if you're going into a hospital or a birth center, medical model, sick place, and you're getting ready to experience physiologic pain, and that place doesn't fail, then you're going to have to fight against it. And I don't like to use the word fight because I work there. Like, I don't want people fighting against me. I don't feel like I'm fighting against them. And this is not everyone. This is not every nurse or every physician. This isn't bashing at all. This is just think of where you're going. And if you're going to just be at the mercy of that institution, they're going to treat you, right? They're going to want to do things to help you. And they're going to also kind of generally consider it suffering. And that's unnecessary in a place like that. Golly. So, are you with me? Can I get a amen? Can I get a thumbs up? Are you with me? Can I get some love? Does that make sense? So, choosing your facility is number 1. Choosing your facility where you're going to give birth. And I don't mean the mercy, like, I gave birth in a hospital. I work in a hospital. I don't think that I was at the mercy of my providers that I chose. But also, I didn't, you don't know who your provider is going to be, first of all, because it's uncommon these days to have the same provider all the time. So it's going to be who's on call. You don't know who your nurse is going to be. It could be, the midwife that's on call or whatever. So your facility, I say facility and I don't say provider. And I recently listened to a few talks from Dr. Neil Shaw, which I hope you will hear more about soon. And he is doing research. He has actually published research that shows that your facility matters more on your risk for a cesarean than your provider. And your risk goes up for other things depending on which facility you give birth in. So that's really huge. And that is very different than what we normally do, which is choose a provider. We choose our doctor and we go where they go. But he said, would you choose a restaurant according to who your waiter was? Or according to what the restaurant was? What kind of food they had, what kind of service, how fast, how hot, what drinks they had, and their whole atmosphere. No, you would choose the latter. You would choose the atmosphere and the drinks and the food, not who your server was going to be. Medicine is very different. But I thought that was a good analogy. All right, so number one, choosing your facility is going to affect how your pain is received by your providers. And you can do that with a tour. You can do that with calling the unit. You could talk to other providers in the practice that you're at and interview your provider and ask, what's going to happen if I say I don't want to do this anymore? Or what would you recommend? Or how many women that you see get, what's your cesarean rate? What's the epidural rate? What's the episiotomy rate? How many people have doulas? How many midwives have you worked with? Like that's for a physician, but tailor your questions to information that you want to know, because that's going to really matter more than your conversations with them one-on-one in your appointments. I really think that the facility and their history has a huge impact on what you're going to experience and what reality will be. Not that they're going to lie to you, but it's all nice and great when you're comfortable in your prenatal appointment. But then when you're hurting and you're not with your provider and you have another nurse, like what does that facility do? What's their relationship with women who are having physiologic pain? Okay, so and what does that picture look like? And does it jive with what you envision for your birth? Number two, understanding normal physiologic birth. That's your second job. So many jobs of the pregnant person. Understanding normal physiologic birth. So, and that goes into number three, but understanding with a great educator, great childbirth class, or a great provider, why we have pain, why we can trust our bodies and trust the hormones that are going on in our bodies, and what can we expect during childbirth? What are some of the things that other women have experienced that we can expect? And this ties into the work that I'm doing with traumatic birth. And the work, by work, I mean working through my traumatic birth and also learning about other people's traumatic births and how they worked through it. Oh, that's better. And how work on the front end affects your childbirth each time. So either having trauma in the past or having a traumatic birth, having a history of PTSD, whatever your history is, knowing what to expect. How many times are you going to have a vaginal exam? How many women are in the practice versus men are in the practice? How many residents? How many students? Who's going to be watching? When do the shifts change? Things like that. What to expect? What are some invasive procedures? What are some, thinking about the terms that your provider uses when they do an internal exam can affect you dramatically. And then knowing normal physiologic birth. And I always say, don't watch YouTube, but in my class, I actually put some YouTube videos up because I've vetted them. I've watched them and I think that they're helpful. So, sorry, I saw a question and I was like, how am I going to get to that? Okay, so I'm going to get to that, Becky. What does normal physiologic birth look like? So if you go through me, then you're going to know that I'm giving normal physiologic videos, and you can be sure they are not easy to find. They are not easy to find. Usually I use them in my class, and they also have a version online. So that's cheating. And they might be old school because it's really hard to find normal physiologic birth. So being prepared for what sounds might happen, what the pain sensation, the changes that you're going to feel, what your partner might experience. You're going to learn about yourself during that process, and you're going to start to get an idea, because wherever you're coming from, your mountain, your story is what makes this specifically for you. So your experiences in your past. Some people have a lot of fear. Some people have had a traumatic birth experience or have witnessed one or have had trauma in their past or assault in their past. Some people don't like any sort of medical anything. The thought of blood makes them pass out. They don't like their blood pressure being taken, whatever. So wherever you're coming from, learning about birth and what normal birth, there are processes that happen that most women experience in a time frame. So that's powerful. And knowing that that's out there, knowing that that's out there, that's a tool for you. But you have to be careful. You might see other kinds of birth, which might be scary. So going through a childbirth class is my recommendation. And then you're learning about yourself. But this should help you vet, I guess, or interview or choose who your one-on-one continuous support superheroes are going to be. So they need to be acutely aware and have witnessed and be comfortable with normal physiologic birth. And I challenge that there are physicians, new residents, new midwives, nurses that are not comfortable with normal physiologic birth or have witnessed normal physiologic birth. And that's not a fault of theirs. That's just a fact. I just told you what the hospital is like, what some birth centers are like. They are going to heal you. And if suffering is a problem that you're having, we can fix that. So having seen and be comfortable with the sounds, the rhythms, the experiences, the emotions, the feelings, the sensations, the needs of normal physiologic birth. That's why there are professions that you can hire to bring with you wherever you go, because that is unique, but so important, because there is a time when everyone wonders, why the hell am I doing this? How am I going to finish this? Are we going to be okay? Women question. This is the point where I say everyone asks for an epidural, including myself. This is that turning point where you don't know if you can do it, and you are kind of like, you might be begging, you might be crying, you might be done. And to have people around you that know that this point's coming, and that's okay with it, and that's open for you to experience this in your way and make decisions. But our thinking brain turns off at that time. And our, there are names for this and I don't remember what they are, but our core animal brain, base brain, survival brain turns on. So making decisions, really big, life-changing decisions during the time when just our survival brain is on, is very difficult for us to do, very scary, can be emotional, can be impossible. If you've ever asked a woman to make a choice while she's in labor, it almost can be too much because she's not even there. That brain is off. That's off. That's like saying walk backwards with your eyes closed while writing with your left hand. That just doesn't work. That part of your brain is not on. So having people around you that are going to be okay with that is going to allow you to process through and overcome and continue and move forward, move through that space, move through that time period and experience it wholly. But these people are not afraid of it. They're going to remind you not to be afraid of it. And then you're going to be able to pull from what you've learned that this is normal. This is what my body is doing. That's why I'm feeling it. So when, I remind you, your doula, your partner reminds you about what's going on, it'll be there. It'll be back there. We're not giving you new information. You've already learned this information. We're reminding you, but we're also not scared with you. Okay. Does that make sense? So that's number 2, is understanding physiologic birth and having people surrounding you that understand it, know it, have lived it. And you're learning about yourself. So that's number 3. You're going to hear my little notes. Learning and understanding ourselves. And this is what automatically happens. So it shouldn't, it is its own one, but this automatically happens. As you go through these processes, you're going to learn more about yourself. And it's good. It's exciting. And it should happen because, right, the goal is to come out as a parent that believes in herself. Parents that believe in themselves, in their bodies, in their ability to do this. You're going to get through this process, whatever that looks like, and you don't know what it looks like. So it's always going to be a challenge because of the unknown, and a success on the other side you're going to have to kind of process through until that becomes a success in your mind. But having done work on the back end is going to help propel you into that feeling of triumph, that believing in yourself, processing it so that you can come out on top. So learning about yourself. When or times that you felt physiologic pain, what did you do? How did you survive it? How did you power through? Working through fears. That is some of the work that you can do. Okay, so working on actual practice, how to get through this discomfort, how to manage the pain, and also work with the baby. So that's what you do in a childbirth class, and what a great educator can help you with beforehand. But it's going to be totally like you wouldn't run a marathon by winging it, right? You wouldn't swim the English Channel on a whim. So why would you not prepare for childbirth? You would not do stretches. So, okay, pain is coming or discomfort is coming during your marathon. There's going to be a struggle and a tough time. Those stretches that you're going to do and the way that you're going to move your body and take care of your body at that time is not how you're going to do it in labor. So knowing what those kinds of stretches are, what those kinds of movements, what those kinds of activities are that are going to help you through that labor process is important to learn beforehand to help you actually use that pain and use that discomfort in the way that it's supposed to be used, which is, it's a signal, not that something's wrong, but it is a signal for you. Also, knowing your why. So your goals. Why did you do this? So in the middle of a yoga class, yoga is hard for me. So I think about it as a yoga class. I don't actually run marathons, but yoga is tough. So in a pose, they're saying, hold this pose. And I barely got into this pose and I'm feeling all kinds of uncomfortable. Like it's stretching, it's hurting, my butt's in the air. I have to pee or worse. There's all kinds of reasons to be uncomfortable. And she's saying, hold it, breathe through it. And I'm thinking, what's going on through me? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why did I go here? Like, what brought me here? What is keeping me in this pose? What is the bigger outcome? What is my bigger goal? So those are things that you're going to need to figure out, process, write down, and share with your team so that you can harness that pain or at least not have it be suffering. And know your end game, like your stopping point. What are your biggest, what maybe is your biggest hurdle? And then what's your end game? What's your safe word when you've really had enough? Like people say, I've had enough and I'm done. But when you really have, and you're like, I'm going to use pain medicine as a tool. I'm going to use an epidural as a tool. I'm going to go to the hospital and get support there instead of at home as a tool. What's your safe word for that? And allow your people to come into the work that you're doing so that you do feel completely safe around them. You can make noises. You can be naked. You can have movements. You can ask for help. You can cry. I don't know if all of those things are going to happen, but they might, and I've seen them. And you need to feel really confident that those people are your people, and it's not a spectator sport. So, what was the question? Okay, so to just wrap up, I think that work, that brain work and that self work is flexing your intuition. So then when you do have situations that come up that are unexpected and you're going to have to make decisions, or you're going to have to be think like a parent, even though you may not be a parent yet on the outside, knowing yourself, knowing your relationship with your partner, your relationship with your support people, you're getting confidence in that, and you're getting confidence in your body as you learn about your body, as you learn about the system of birth, your facility, who's going to be with you, how they view birth, how they view your safety and your baby's safety is going to give you confidence in your intuition so that you can ultimately, make decisions for yourself and for your baby. I consider myself lucky. Oh, Julie, that you were my L&D nurse. You regrouped my thoughts. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to read all of that right now. All right, Becky says, how can you be extra prepared for the labor you envision when your facility options are limited and perhaps you don't support your goals well? So in the comments right now, I want you to tell me where you're at in this process. Are you just picking your facility, talking with a provider? Are you thinking about being pregnant, wondering where the hell am I going to go to have this baby now that Mandy's muddied my options? Sorry. Are you pregnant? Are you learning about birth, right? Or the third option, learning about you. Tell me where you're at. This is a supportive group, this community on YouTube and in this group all about birth. It's supportive. And I've just seen like comments from women that were like, hey, I can't help but I'm here with you and I'm reading and I'm, rooting for you. I love that. We all need that. So tell us where you're at. Hold yourself accountable through the process, through these 3 steps. Tell us where you're at and we will help you stay accountable and coach you, encourage you. How can you be extra prepared? So I think that you just have to be really strong in the other 2 steps, because there are going to be people and there are times when you're like in the middle of it, right? And you can't back out. Like one can't not be pregnant anymore. And maybe you found out that one of these steps, like there's a limit in any of them. And, maybe you're going through the process and you're like, something that Mandy said about trauma, now what do I do? Like that clicked with me. Now what do I do? Now I can't like go back and process my whole assault or process all the trauma or whatever. Like something in the middle of this has given a barrier. Well, that's okay. So it happens to everyone and it's okay. And just do what you can and have control over what you can, because ultimately you don't have control over all of it anyways. So you're not going to like go through these 3 steps and be like, I know exactly how it's going to go. And I say, I say what I want and it happens. No, you do not have control over everything. That's birth. That's parenthood. That's humanism. But birth is can be very unpredictable. Going with the flow, bending but not breaking was another term on this podcast. Oh my gosh, I want to fall in love with her who said that, because that's what it's about. So getting stronger in the learning about birth, learning about a normal natural process so that you can stand up for yourself, talking with your team, writing down what you want. That may not be a birth plan. That just may be, hey, I'm taking notes because y'all need to read this. You need to know where I'm coming from. You need to know that this is a no in my book. I never want this to happen. Or this is what I have concern with. Can we talk about this? Can I work through this with you? And then knowing about yourself, that is knowing about birth and knowing about yourself. Those 2 are so intimately linked. And just knowing, being confident with yourself, making decisions, standing up for yourself, and advocating for yourself, and then constantly talking about it. So only have that go in and only have that come out. So you're not going to have doubt go in. You're not going to see birth stories that are scary, and you are not going to say what you don't want to have, not what you don't want to have happen. Like, don't be afraid of saying that, but you're not going to speak doubt, okay? Or speak ill of the place that you're giving birth, because there are people there that will fight for you, and there are people there who see it the way you see it, I hope, and I think, and I believe. You just have to find them. So speak up for what you want and say who you envision being with you. And then there's you got to give it space. Bending and not breaking. You got to give it space. I do believe that there are people that are in some birth situations, including mine, that you thought no, and they needed to be there. And we learn and grow by becoming parents. So if we were in charge of everything, that's not a space where we learn and grow. So being able to be open to some differences and some things that don't go the way we want them or the way we plan, just having a solid base of, yes, you want a safe baby, you want a safe mom, and you want a safe psyche. And then there are a lot of ways to get there. So building on that base is how we're getting there. And understanding physiologic pain and physiologic birth is a good starting point. I hope that helped, Becky. Kim, I'm still trying to fight for a family-centered cesarean and need to talk to the unit manager at the hospital. We've hit so many medical and roadblocks, but I would really like to ask for some accommodations. Okay, get it, girl. I guess you're already answering my question. That wasn't a question. But get it. That's amazing. And do it. You got to make the call or walk there, knock on the door, make the call. Thank you for sharing that. That's huge. That's big. That's a big next step. I need to ask for things and write some emails that I said at the beginning. Those are some, the only way to get something that we want is to ask for it. That's how I grew up. But also, some unexpected things can happen by positioning yourself and being ready and preparing. So I'm glad that you're open to it, and I will encourage you to keep doing the work. So keep doing the work from that comment, keep doing the work in your pregnancy, and be open to, unexpected stuff, which is really hard to do. But I so appreciate you listening and following along, asking questions. If you have more, or I didn't get to it, or you can't be live, post them down below. Thank you so much. If this helped you or spoke to you or you could relate, thank you for the likes. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube and being a part of the 1K family over there. It's so fun. So fun. The more people that I can reach there and here in this group, I think the more confident parents maybe there'll be. And kids, that's the whole end game, right? Powering their families. And if you have someone in your life that needs to hear this or wants to learn, share on your social media platforms, talking about it and speaking your truth, I think is huge. What a good end to the day. It's still such a beautiful day and the dogs aren't barking. Thank you so much. Thank you for the likes and the love. And we are going to go celebrate 1,000 subs. It's sub night. I get to go get the subs. It's silly, but you have to celebrate the little wins. So thank you so much. I'll see you next week.